he was my boss, so friend is it would be presumptuous for me to say, but I think we were close. We would speak pretty much every day, and I think I had a good understanding of him. I think part of what I brought to the Downing Street operation, having worked with him for quite a long time, was just a good understanding of how he would react to information, and you get a sort of simpatico almost. The relationship between a special advisor and a principal.
I want to press you a little bit, Mr. Kane, about whether the extent to which you endorse what Mr. Cummings was saying here. He's clearly saying, isn't he, that the reason that you and others are driving and directing is because those who should be doing it, that is the Cabinet Office, are not. I mean, to use his words, they are terrifyingly shit. Do you agree with that?
I might not quite use the same language, but generally yes. I think at that point, and that's quite a strong thing to say, I think what will probably be clear in COVID, it was the wrong crisis for this Prime Minister's skill set, which is different, I think, from not potentially being up to the job of being Prime Minister. The PM at the time would refer to the Mayor of Jaws from the film, who wanted to keep the beaches open. I think he had a routine from previous in his career where he would use that as a joke from one of his sort of after dinner speeches. But he sort of said, there's more harm coming. The Mayor was right all along to keep the beaches open, because it would have been a long-term harm to the community. So it's a sort of reference to that.
And then Mr. Cummings says, I've literally said the same thing 10 fucking times. He still won't absorb it. I'm exhausted just talking to him and stopping the trolley. I've had to sit here for 2 hours just to stop him saying stupid shit. And you say, I'm exhausted with him.
I think anyone that's worked with the Prime Minister for a period of time will become exhausted with him sometimes. He can be quite a challenging character to work with, just because he will oscillate, he will take a decision from the last person in the room. I think that's pretty well documented in terms of his style of operating, and it is rather exhausting from time to time.
At the moment the bubble thinks you've taken your eye off the ball, you're happy to have useless pigs in charge. They think that a vast amount of the chaotic news on the front pages is coming from Number 10, when in fact it's coming from the Cabinet, who are feral, and so on. And then in the last paragraph, I also must stress, I think leaving Hancock in post is a big mistake. He's a proven liar who nobody believes or should believe on anything. And we face going into autumn crisis with the still in charge of the NHS, still, therefore, we'll be back around that Cabinet table with him and Stevens bullshitting again in September. Hideous prospect. And it says this, he's obsessed with older people accepting their fate and letting the young get on with life and the economy going. Quite a bonkers set of exchanges. Picking it up a couple of lines down, PM says, his party thinks the whole thing is pathetic and COVID is just nature's way of dealing with old people, and I'm not entirely sure I disagree with them. A lot of moderate people think it's a bit too much.
I think, you could see from the evidence, he was, I think he was concerned about the damage on society as a whole, and he was trying to view it through that lens. I think some of the language is obviously not what I would have used, but for me, the core argument was always the same.